be the ones to take the lead. And especially as universities, I know most of the innovation comes from universities world over. And I really thank BSU for what you have already done. But I do think that we need more in order to bridge this gap. Thank you so much.
And you may wonder why I'm in orange. I will tell you why. I'm in bright orange. My name is Engineer Anke Weisheit. Yes, I'm at the university. I'm a co-founder of a center at the university called Biotrack, Pharmaceutical, Biotechnology, and Traditional Medicine. Kasim is the head, Professor Obuah is the patron, and orange is the color because one will have to see that as one of the opportunity in the country is harnessing indigenous knowledge in research, training, and development of this nation. And orange is the color where in the past knowledge was transmitted from the old to the young, the so-called, the scientists like to call it intergenerational knowledge transfer. This is the high word, you find it in the magazine, articles, scientific articles. It means simply that the old people in the villages have sat under the mango tree or under fire and talk and teach the young people after farming, after doing all the work in the evening, when the sun is setting, and that's the color orange. It's either the fire that is sitting on or the sun setting is orange. Farm Biotrack is now integrating indigenous knowledge and doing that transfer from the old to the young. Now, one thing, higher education. You talked about higher education. Higher education can't be made relevant to the society. Our sample from Biotrack, traditional medicine, is a sector which is completely neglected. There is a bill, it's as old as I'm in Uganda, 16 years, jumping between one office to the next. It's now at the president's office. I hope it's soon resigned. So, our students, half of them, have already businesses. They do herbal medicine products. So science becomes relevant today. The course becomes relevant because they already make business. Some even make the business too good and have little time for academia, but maybe it's what you want. You make money. It's okay. So now, innovation incubation is what you have discussed. It's a very important, so that the knowledge generated either from outside or from within the university is harnessed. I can see two different organizations come together, academia representing the development world. You need to work together, as we say. That's very important. Now, Innovation Center needs to bring science and practitioners together. You know, most of the guys, the business guys, Cartwell and whatever, they don't come to university. That's why, who to talk to? They're all in neckties, all no. No, it's scary. This university, it's not for me, it's maybe for my son who has an A in his secondary, we sent him there. Now it's important that having the innovation cooperation is a connecting point between the academia and the private sector. We come together. Now, the students is one way to address it at the student. That's direct transfer. Students learn, we get out, get entrepreneurship. Now, I would try to say another layer. You know, students, we have mindsets are built in their nursery, primary, secondary school. That is where the mindset is set. So it's important that universities, when they do teacher education, curriculum development, actually put the private, you say creative thinking, logical thinking, innovation, entrepreneurship as part of the curriculum from the lowest to the upper. So that when the students come to us, we don't need to make a lot of mind shift change with this stuff. That is academia. Now, when the students have come out and they have businesses, I wish we need another system called business clinic. When an incubatee comes out of the incubator, it's right to be outside, no longer in the incubator, no longer hatched. It is very important to have a kind of a system where any private sector can come to a certain hub called business clinic to get maybe some question answered or some further research done. I mean, I have a medicine, it doesn't work, it's getting always sour. Do you have a solution? We can put the student on you directly, work with you directly, and you get a solution. But how that herbalist, for example, come to you, to a business clinic, where we know I can come and my issues are addressed, I come and know where to go. Then, that is from the academia side. Now from the government side. One of the speakers say 60% or more living on agriculture for their survival. I wish that the budget is also coming closer to the percentage. Because 6% is the budget, I think, roughly. And the cut-up says 12%, so we have not reached there. So it's also important the mouse and the money have to be in the same direction. Who feeds you needs to be fed. It's very simple, natural science. Who feeds you needs to be fed. If you don't feed a cow well, you can pull on the other, there will be nothing coming out. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much on the comments that have been given and some questions. What side do you feel?
Thank you very much. I am called Dr. Julieta Tubibine. I'm the branch manager of Uganda Management Institute, Marara branch. I'm here on behalf of the Director General Uganda Management Institute. We couldn't make it, we are sorry, we are hosting an international conference. We are so challenged that as we train world-class managers, we have never thought about training managers in agriculture, agrobusiness, and technopreneurship. It is an embarrassment which we are going to work on now because we are talking about training world-class managers, we are thinking about the private sector, the public sector, the politicians, we have the cowboys, we have the local government officials, teachers, we have everyone. We do not have anything to do with agribusiness, entrepreneurship, and technopreneurship, and I'm taking this message home. I promise the next 1 year you're going to hear a course targeting managers in agribusiness so that we train them to be world-class managers, and this will help us maybe to promote agriculture. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So when they give a chance, we shall have another. Let me give
gaps, telling us what we missed out, because the topic is quite wide and is important for everyone. I don't remember, but the lady over there, the orange, I thought orange was Dutch, so I was about to say Dutch, but then he said orange is something else. Yeah, indeed, the intergenerational knowledge is diminishing, and I think when we were children, we used to sit around the fireplace, and your grandfather would run you through things about life. And that is becoming less and less as we're becoming more urbanized. But I think it's always important to remember these things because they are important to us, and they also contributed to our stock of knowledge at the time. I listened to Herbert, and it's true, I hadn't noticed you're sitting there. The challenge you raised is quite important in terms of what we train and whether that training meets the market needs. It is one of the things why the STY program put the private sector at the center, because we realize that sometimes the private sector is running faster than some of our training institutions for various reasons, because the technologies they have might be different from what maybe somebody was taught. But the link between the private sector and the universities, that's what we try also to create, can bridge that gap. And many times we work backwards, meaning that we see the gap in the market and try to understand, either working with that private sector provider, how we can link with the training institutions in order to train people with those particular skills. Honorable Member of Parliament, you asked a very difficult question. Maybe we give it to the leader of business or government to answer how long will it take for us to bridge this gap. But I guess you asked this question more as a challenge. And I think for us to think about it. But I just want to assure you that our approach is not elitist, in the sense that we do not only focus on university graduates or secondary school graduates and so on. In many communities where we work, there are people even who have never gone to school, but they're very creative. And we always have opportunity to engage them and see what they can do for themselves. We have supported a lot of vocational trainings. We have even built vocational training schools with the same concept, the concept of ensuring that we give somebody a skill. We are not only interested in training them, we are interested in their employability. And in effect, we are interested in their life, in the change of their life, so they can have a good livelihood. And I think it is also embodied in the Agenda 2030 that I was mentioning here. For us, here they talk that they will try to, they say that they reach the farthest behind first. But in APSI, we also have a concept of saying, we call them the last mile. We work in many places where we call the last mile because nobody reaches them with the services, nobody reaches them with a lot of institutional help, but we try to get there when we can. So it's we have this in our focus. It's not something that it's something that we're aware about, and we worked a lot about it. I think, Herbert, also one of the things we try to do is, in the institutions where we've worked, training institutions, we try to establish what we call dresser studies. Now, these dresser studies are kind of a feedback mechanism that enables the training institutions to be able to gauge the quality of their training and its usefulness and relevance. Now, if you train me as a carpenter and I end up as a, I don't know, a gardener or doing something else, I will want to ask why. So that my your feedback can inform me on whether is it the skill that was not adequate, was the skill irrelevant, or was it another reason. And this information is able to maybe, hopefully, change the curriculums so that the curriculums can adapt and be able to give skills that are relevant. There was some, I thank you for the appreciation, but I still want to emphasize that for us, in APSI Foundation, the training, the education of the heart is very important. Because we know that when the heart is educated, it is the one that guides the creativity. It's the one that appreciates the environment. It makes you become a protagonist in the community where you are. And that's why we put a lot of emphasis on it. But also on the other hand, in the course of our work, even in institutions, we like to relate to people because we know that institutions are run by people and there are people who give that lead. For example, when we came to Bishop Stuart, we saw that the Vice Chancellor was such a person that was much interested in the advancement of the institution, but also of the youth. And Just a comment also, I think, from a member of parliament that was mentioned here about signing protocol with the Emirates and not being able to meet the commitments. I always say, until we learn to feed and supply the local market, we will never be able to supply the foreign markets. And I think that has to earn supplying the local markets. And that is only what can enable us to understand that even the foreign markets, those markets we can be able to supply them. And what you've mentioned is very common even in the local markets here. When you sign up with somebody, it tells you I'll give you 50 bags of maize every week, and then after 2 weeks you say, sorry, I'm sorry, but I didn't get the maize. So that's why the training that we do also with our young people, the entrepreneurship training, we emphasize these aspects that in businesses. That is a very important aspect. I'm glad you took the cue, and hopefully, and I think if that promise, we shall follow it up, because also it is linked to what the Member of Parliament was saying. If people don't have that skill to engage in globalized markets, because you have offered it, they will never get it anywhere else. So I think that it's good that you took up that challenge, and we can be very glad to have it. And the intellectual property, that's quite, it was a point that mentioned with our discussant. I think I appreciate that a lot, and I think our environment has advanced so much that sometimes we need to think about things that in the past we never even thought about it. When they patent something and it's patented globally, you are also impacted on that patent even locally. So I think that we need to raise the bar of the training that we give to our youth to enable them understand the global market, to enable them understand all the factors that impact on their work. I did not specifically mention poverty, but of course, when we say we are picking the last, it means, and actually the statistics that we are trying to look at is that we have many poor people, but the biggest percentage of people are youth. So, bit of mathematics tells you that most poor people are youth. And then you even have youth that have gone to school, they're university graduates, and they can't get employment. Their poverty is even worse, because they know what it means if they had had a job. I think we take the issue of poverty seriously. That's why in some of the programs we design, we try to see elements that can support startup kits or something else. So that's why we designed the Learn As You Earn program, because we realize that some of the people, they may want to participate, but they need to live at the same time. They need a day-to-day survival. So we try to look at those elements that can be able to facilitate the youth into, being attracted to agriculture. So I'll give on to the discussant to share some points.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You have touched on several of the things that were mentioned. Community action research programs that we have for the different value chains, we are looking at it as a comprehensive value chain even for education. We know that universities think their ivory towers, they are up there. So that's why we are bringing in the technical vocational education institutions as well as the out-of-school youth. So when you combine the graduates with the technical vocational institutions and the out-of-school to come up with a product, you are kind of integrating the skills for the different levels of education. And that's a philosophy we have adopted, and we are going forward with it. We have this in Gulu University for Uganda, and the different several out-of-school youths have been trained. So when they work in a value chain, you find that the farmers, the youth, the graduates, and the vocational institution students also all benefit. So in that way, we think that we'll be able to promote everybody and leave nobody behind. But this is still a small aspect. Can we, and I beg in your shoes, can we take this to higher levels, to the policymakers? How do we integrate our education systems so that we can promote? Because even the graduates, some of them are unemployed, or several of them are unemployed. But if they work in a system that they see works, I was very impressed with the products that come out of BSU when they came to exhibit. If they can see that they can be able to make these products and earn a living, then it means that they will be promoted. And I didn't get the name. Herbert, when he talked about the markets, sometimes we do create the market from the products that we generate. Not very many people were eating yogurt, Jessa yogurt. But right now, when you go to the supermarket, you won't find Jessa yogurt because it has been taken out of the shelves. Both, because they have created the market. So it is important that we think through how we are going to create the market for the products that we put forward. And that is something that you raised ably, that universities are think tanks. And as think tanks, they have to think through different aspects, not only the theory, but also how do we operationalize or actualize some of the things that we have raised. So it is important that that is done in terms of linking education to what we do. But at the same time, I still want to go back to the Member of Parliament when he talked about the markets in United Arab Emirates. This is where also now the universities and the technocrats help, because when we talk about big data, it is here to stay. And this big data is the one that helps us to do foresight and forecast the different aspects. We should be able as a country to map our production processes, to know that in Barara there are so many cows, in Karamoja there are so many, and therefore as a country going forward, we should be able to produce so many per day or per month or per whatever. So that those databases are very important. We can't run away from data and foresight as a planning process for the country. So it is important in your capacity as MP that you see how does the Bureau of Statistics work with respect to generating data that then we can use so that we talk with confidence to the different markets where we go. So it is important that we do that very well. The rest were very good comments, and I take them, and we shall be able to think through them, even as universities in the development process.
Or as have information sessions with Parliament. And I can assure you all members of Parliament are looking for solutions, especially for the youth unemployment in Uganda. And I think BSU, you have a very good case study to share. So maybe you could think either having an information session with Parliament or an open space with Parliament, so that some of these, I'm not the only one now benefiting from this source of information, but we have other members of Parliament. And once Parliament are convinced, maybe the 6% budget that she talked about may improve. Thank you so much.
This discussion of agribusiness and entrepreneurship in a wider context. Because often at time, as I also have some voices here, higher education and universities are blamed for creating unemployment and creating graduates who cannot find what to do and job. We have been in discussion with the private sector, and when we met, it was just a blame game. They are saying we are producing graduates who cannot be employed, and we are saying to them, where is tell us why they need to be employed and we send them to you, and it's not there. So the best line is, what is there in this country that can enable every Ugandan earn a living? And once that question is answered, then graduates will also be there to find it and do it. So when we say higher education in the agribusiness and entrepreneurship, we are just only looking at capital, human capital development, only one single element. But there are markets, there is the economy, there is infrastructure, there is the whole general environment that is required to make this business and entrepreneurship circle be complete. So when you focus only on human capital and say, give us the solution, we cannot. Higher education cannot give solution in this business world and entrepreneurship if it is the only one that is asked to do it. We need also to look at are there the markets? Is there the money policy that is commendable? Actually, I can tell you, all of us, even our professors who are in our business, the moment you don't renew his contract at the university, he may be an employee. He may be an employee. Why? Because apart from finding somebody to give you a job, there is no other alternative that you can do other than that. So I think that we need to widen the thinking and what we are doing in this country. That higher education alone is mainly a task to produce human capital in the whole trust structure. But there are other factors that are what? That are required. So I want to really to say that as higher education, universities, we cannot also find it, we don't have any skills. We must ensure that we create appropriate human capital. But now when you look at our private sector industries, you go, I don't know how many have been there, but you find, if you go to Coca-Cola plant here, you will find they have brought a brand from Germany, and it has come with somebody. I don't know what you want to do if you have come from Makerere as a student of mechanical engineering. You stand there and press a button. Is that what is really a university graduate who has a degree in mechanical engineering should do? No. Is that an alternative? Is there another industry where he can go? No. So, what can higher education and universities do in this context? So, Honorable LP, it's wider than higher education. It's wider than universities. Universities are for human capital development. We shall give the skills, we shall give the knowledge, because when we look at all that we receive from universities in terms of curriculum, it is what is being taught in Oxford. It is what is being taught in South Africa. Actually, now with this technology, it is cut and what? And paste. You find that most of our curricula is cut and paste. And also, you also find that most universities no longer shy away. They post their curricula on the what? On the internet. So there is no really, there is nothing which is very secretive about a curriculum. It is how it can be translated in that what? Environment. So we need to widen our environment in terms of our thinking and work if we want to get employable graduates. I thank you.
And our sister Dr. Florence for a good presentation, and I wish you come again. And next time probably our Chancellor and Vice Chancellor organize this from morning, because you notice that this is too short a time to share the many brilliant ideas here. And you know, one other question that has been hanging is universities are ivory tower, and there's a lot of research, there's a lot of knowledge, there's a lot of, and you know, agriculture is down on ground. There's this information that we have and the disseminations that are made, do they reach the very people who actually are in practice of agriculture? Or we have it and we discuss it here and we share it and it all ends. Thank you very much. We are going to almost the last session, but I want to take note of this as we invite our Chancellor to make closing remarks, that we want to recognize and thank our parents and Diocese, headed and led by our Chancellor, the Bishop, all the clergy, synod members, and the Christians of Ampere Diocese. West Ampere Diocese here represented by the Diocesan Education Officer. I want to welcome and recognize Reverend Canon Dr. Kagume, National Council for Higher Education, Executive Director, National Council. Thank you. We want to recognize universities with us here. Our invitations are honored. I can see MUST, our sister institution, Ampere Western University. You can wave as I read the institutions. Ampere Western University is represented here. University of Joseph's. High School with us. We have Kashaka Girls. Yakasinga Center for Higher Education. The team. We have Katanoga SS. We have Bishop Macrist College Chonjera. We have Junamagar Ministries. It is also another training institution. I want to recognize our partners. When you talk of apps, that word is difficult for us sometimes. First, we want to thank you very much. All that has been said here about apps, you can see the outcomes. They were nurtured. Dr. Karugani picked, and now we have an incubation hub. You'll see the products as you move out there. I'll not mention them all because of time. And tomorrow we have agreed. These products will be there to serve people. So instead of the other Wenzori water and the rest, we have BSU products now. So they'll be there in the production ground. So please enjoy them. We have Operation Wealth Creation. Kano is here with us. And of course, when we talk of Operation Wealth Creation, we don't separate it from the UPDF. An institution that has changed the minds of people about the army, the most disciplined institution of all. We want to thank you for honoring our invitation. We have political leaders, our MP, woman MP is here with us. Then we have local government leaders. These ones, I want to mention that we have to recognize them in a special way because we have districts that have actually led in supporting higher education and mobilizing students for BSU. And here we have the chairman, Shema District, he's here with us. And the team. We have the speaker of Mbara District. Chairman, that you stand up. And your team. You're welcome. Mbara District, we have the speaker, Mbara District, local government, and the team. BSU product. Oh, great. Ivanda District, Chuluhura District. Some of them are not here, but I have to recognize them for the support they give. Kamwenje District, Ntungamo District, Rukonji District, Isindo District, and the Rumama of Kabura Country in Yantonde District. These people have really supported this. They are around? Yeah, oh, thank you, welcome. Sorry, I have not seen you. That one is a big man, he's a representative of the king in the district. So we have the king here. We have others from Kaso as well. We have bankers who work with us.